America. It is Friday, last day of the week. Thank goodness it's Friday. TGIF, that's it. And the stocks are lifting a little bit from, I guess the PCE has come out. April PCE is up. Economists expecting 2.8. Economist prices 3% month over month. I think they were thinking about 2.8 year after over year. And the numbers are just coming out as we speak. Let's see, where is it at? I'm looking and seeing. I see the Dow up, like 75 points now. They're lifting the market, so maybe that means inflation went down? Maybe inflation went up? I don't know. I don't know how to even interpret it anymore. With the Federal Reserve putting their thumb on the trading scales all the time, it's it's pretty hard to take serious. Okay, here it is. Here's the number now. It was in line, they're saying. They were expecting 0.3, and it was 0.3. April price index was 2.7. They were expecting 2.7. Okay, so now the core. So core, April core price came in at 2.8, and it was estimated to be at 2.8. And so all the numbers came out the way they expected. Here you go. There's a little bit more. Hold on. Okay, spending came in a little bit lower, they're saying. So it's... Let's see, what do we have up on the screen? Let's put this up on the screen. You can see that. Let's give you one of these. You see that once the numbers came out, is that it right there? This is where the number came out, right here. The number came out here. They popped it up. They've been climbing all morning, slow and steadily. This is the S&P 500. It's been slow and steady. And you can see that the stock market is pretty firm in there. Usually that interprets the idea. I guess we could take a look at a bond too. That makes the interpretation that they feel comfortable at the moment. That is for sure. Let's fix that again. Okay, let's go like that and go at default. Okay, and now go with 7, and that'll straighten it out. There we are. 24 hours. All right, yeah. So when it's when it's going down like this right here, that means interest rates are going up. And the last couple of days, it bottomed there yesterday. Interest rates dropped a little bit, and they're dropping a little bit right now. And you can see the daily buy number it's trying to get through, and we're in the weekly buy still. It has not relinquished that weekly buy. The pressure is on the upside when it comes to the stocks. They're still trying to lift them. I don't have much of a doubt there, that's for sure. What else can we say about any of that? Let's see. Double check on something here. Okay, there it is. There we go. So... that is where we stand, and obviously, when with the interest rates the last 2 days dropping a little bit each time, yesterday definitely more than today. What it comes down to is that we're looking at the marketplace, saying, maybe the inflation numbers are not as bad. I don't know. To me, it's such a short-lived thing. I keep on seeing my core go up because I do a 3-month, and then I add a 4th month of the last 12 months. So I do the last 3 months, And then I do the 12-month way out, so 4 total, and that's going up still. It's not looking pretty, and it should still be climbing all the way up into July. So I keep on seeing it go up, and I'd imagine if we keep on seeing it firm like that, going into August and September, then that'll make them even more nervous. But again, with Mr. Trump being up almost 20% now against Mr. Biden, markets are looking at it and saying, it doesn't matter how stupid what the Democrats do, they want to vote for him, and that means a better economy. And so it's like, if Mr. Biden was up 10% or 5%, then obviously markets would not be so happy. I heard an analyst this morning said that he's been following the markets through the betting in Las Vegas, and it keeps on reflecting strength for the markets because Biden's numbers dropped again last night. Trump's didn't go up, but Biden's dropped, which was interesting. Let's see. There we go. What else we got going on here? I guess that's about it. Let's take a look at the dollar index, see what the dollar index is up to. And right there. And let's move it over to the beta and take a look at that, and then I'll fill it in on the other one too. You can see here, dollar index is kind of hesitating back and forth. We go into a buy, we go back into a sell. Yesterday it went into the sell, and let's see, is that probably like that. That's today, so it's down. It was down yesterday, but we had a green dot still, and so it was still pressuring and still not sliding into that sell. Or maybe it's been carrying through in a sell. Let's take a look at. Yeah, it's been carrying through. It's been in a sell since back in here, so let's straighten that out. And so it went into the sell here. Let's just emphasize the whole box. It went into the sell there on the 27th. Right there on that one. Do the same thing there. So it went into the sell there. That was that. And then there's the 28th. It was down still. The 29th popped it back into a buy. Still in the buy. And today it's now trying to push into the sell, and you can see it's down. So that is let's see, there we are. When we're looking at this point, markets are looking at two different directions, and so they're looking at two different directions. One is they're looking at Mr. Trump. Then they look at the bad economy, and they look at Mr. Trump again. They know what Mr. Trump can do, and he keeps on telling us that he's going to go right back to the old policies that made the economy incredibly strong. So the fundamentals are not really let's put it this way, they're not that strong in decision making. Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. All right, let's take a look at it over here. There it is. And you can see the sell there. Goes into the buy there, still in the buy. And right now it's trying to break down as we speak. Now the beta is the histogram is already broken down. And it's also in a weekly sell for the last 3 weeks. And just like in this case here, you can see it on the, you're seeing that on the beta. You can see it's 4 weeks now going on in the beta. And then you go back over to here, and you see we are 3 full weeks in a sell. And actually the fastest 5 weeks in a sell. So, I mean, there's a lot of pressure. Look, I'm never really that big a dollar bull. I just know that it's always firm Because the central banks, the Federal Reserve is the number one central bank in the world, and money, the dollar is used as a world currency. So it's not that far fetched to see that action and expect that action. That's the way at least I look at it. So at this point, I think what we're going to keep on seeing is that strength. We'll constantly keep on seeing that strength in the dollar, but it's not going to rocket up. Instead, I think it's just going to go sideways and then up a little bit and then down a little bit. And, we saw it under Trump. It was really a place where money wanted to park itself. So, it'll be a firm dollar, but if we can get Mr. Trump in, which I think he's going to do, then I think that means that the world is going to start to perform better. Because a strong America economically is good for the world. Yeah, so. All right, let's go over to the euro. Let's see what the euro looks like this morning. You can see the euro is trying to get through the zero line right there. We got a red and a green, and we're in a weekly buy. So, that is trying to move the dollar down. That's what that's saying on the euro. And we've seen an interesting article today with the Swiss and the euro and so forth. It was interesting how it's been, how the Swiss has been kind of locked with the dollar. And there's cable. And you can see there, it's still in a sell, the cable, and the weekly buy is, still in a weekly buy. So in other words, it doesn't seem to want to. We're really in a mixed situation. Robin and I were talking about it. This reminds us of reverse head and shoulder patterns, right here, and so, it's trying to tell us that the product wants to go up against the dollar. All right, and let me just show you what's going on in the intraday again, because it's still climbing. We're up to 70 now. So they're taking this up. Now that they realize that the goofy trial that was on doesn't mean a lot. All right, from there we'll go back to just what we were talking about, the Swiss. Let's see if we can put that article up on there too for you. Let's see, where's it at? Right here. There it is right there. Let's put it up on the other screen. You see Swiss franc pinned against dollar, euro, but it says Swiss franc is pinned against the dollar. In other words, it's moving with it all the time. Dollar, euro, but has tailwind versus yen. Interesting. Swiss franc has had a twin life so far this year, weakening against the dollar and the euro, but proving to be resilient against the yen. Okay. I wasn't sure which way they were playing that, because I've seen it taking the opposite side, but at times we've also seen it strong. Like right now, it's strong against the dollar, and now we're seeing the euro join in yesterday, or today actually, and you can see the cable is not, and then you can see there must be a wonderful, like a Swiss yen pairs trade. I bet that's interesting. It's let's see, there we are. There we go. So what'll happen is that I'd imagine the Swiss, to me, wants to go into like the 89s area. It doesn't seem to be having that much of a problem. They never pulled the goofy shenanigans about calling it transitory or anything like that in Switzerland. Switzerland last January, started straightening out the inflation problem before it got carried away. And you can see here, all it can do is get up to the 91, 92, not the 101, 102. Now there's a carry trade there. You can see this is the broadly how the franc has performed this year, and you can see here this is the dollar Swiss, and Swiss is the spot and the carry returns. And you can see that. Let's see if we can make this bigger. There it is, right there. So you see 8 point, and then you can see the same on the euro, and then you can see on the dollar Swiss. I'm sorry, the Swiss yen. So I thought that was kind of an interesting situation there. All right, just thought I'd mention it, because it's it's rare to, one thing's for sure, when I usually see a financial story about the Swiss, it's usually a pretty good one. It's very solid in its math and its facts and so forth. So it's always good to to emphasize those things because there's such spotty news out there anymore. All right, from there, let's jump over to the yen. And there's the yen. The yen is trying to push into the sell here today. It's right on the edge. Matter of fact, I thought it went into the sell yesterday. Yeah, it went into the sell yesterday. Right there. And it's playing with the weekly sell, too. I'll tell you, Tokyo would be very happy to see if they could get this thing to back off, and that becomes a big ABC. In other words, this is the A going down, this is the B, and then they come and challenge this area here in the 150 or 149 area. That would be let's put it this way, that'd be a breath of fresh air for Japan. All right. And then we go over to the Turkish lira. And what's nice is this box that we seemed to have identified about 3 or 4 weeks ago is holding up very well, except for this particular move right there on the day we were closed. But after that, it seems like it's holding up pretty well inside that. And the slower and lazier it gets, the better. I mean, Turkish people cannot afford to see like a 40 or 45. Let it get locked in this 33 to 36 area, that'd be fine. If it can get locked into the 35, 34 to 35 and a quarter area, even better. Anything to slow it down. Just slow the poor thing down. And that helps out the economy. It makes it easier for business people to make decisions. And at the same time, it also represents the the people, the population, trying to get a grip on their own currency. All right. Let's jump over to there you go. You can see here, South African Rand has been moving up for the last 3 or 4 days, or 3 days in particular, and I guess it all started. This was where this was probably early voting right there, and then this was the election day right here, and so I don't think the ANC. Let's Google something here and see if the ANC has a majority. Last I looked, they did not, but they will partner up with somebody. We'll see how they play it out. 23 hours ago, the national ANC is a political. Let's see, what does it say here? Let's see. election. All right, South African elections early results. Let's see. Are they going to lose majority? South African election live results. Let's see.
Hi everyone, Mark Barden here at Sandy Hook Promise. On December 14, 2012,
they're doing it as a verbal.
my 7-year-old son Daniel was shot to death in his first grade classroom at Sandy Hook Elementary School.
Don't really
The
see
shooter
any
shot and
information.
killed 26 individuals in about 4 minutes using an AR.
Just that the ANC only had 44% of the vote. So that means they're going to have to team up with somebody. Here's another one. BBC. ANC loses ground in South African elections. ANC on course to lose its majority in the parliament for the first time since it came into power 30 years ago. Let's see. Results from 65% of the voters. The ANC has 42%, followed by Democratic Alliance has 23%. So they can just merge with some other alliance, since they have the biggest block. Because I don't think they're, just 23 and 42 is 65%. So the best anybody else could have is 65%. Economic Freedom Fighters Party has 10%. President Zuma has received 12%. That's the former president that was under indictment. And so he has his own party now. So, Zuma could team up with the ANC and give them automatically a majority right there alone. All right. So that is what we're hearing here now with the South African Rand is it's basically, anything that weakens the ANC only can enhance and help the South African Rand. Okay. Okay. Now let's go over to the metals market. That's usually what we pay attention to. Let me just do that one more time back to the Rand. With the Rand moving up, is that it right now? Yeah. With the Rand, let me do like a big something like that. With the Rand moving up like that, that usually says there's weakness in gold. And you can see there's gold again. Let's find the gold. There's gold. And you can see gold has been down the same time period, but over the election itself, it's kind of stalled out. And today it's up playing with a daily buy as we speak. It's flirting with it. CNN poll has Trump 49% to Biden's 43%. So if the left is polling that way, president ratings are saying 55% to Trump to 39% on Biden. They're saying Biden's a failure. All right. So you can see here gold is trying to be firm, but it's real sideways at the moment. Right there, you can see this is silver. And silver was underneath, and now it's removed itself from there. It's back up above again. You can see it's kind of like another sideways, like an envelope or a channel. It's starting to develop that again. It does seem that they don't want to surrender the metals complex. I just don't see that at the moment. It says here, many voters blame the ANC for high levels of corruption, crime, and unemployment in the country. They think the ANC will get about 42% of the vote, and they'll try to form the government. I'm sure they'll have no problem doing it. They used to be up as high as 57% years back. Back in 2019, they were 5 years ago. They were 15% higher. I would assume that 12% of that number it went to Zuma, because he's been an ANC member and an ANC president. So he's just breaking out on his own more than anything else. All right. Any questions out there, traders? It seems to be quiet. Nobody has anything they want to look at? Looky. Okay, if not, then we'll drift over to, we saw silver. Let's take a look at copper. See how the copper looks. There it is. Let's see. And there's the copper right there. You can see copper's starting to break down more. And it looks like we're pushing right into the sell the same way we have with, let me just go back to gold again. You see gold in the weekly sell. And this is the August contract now. We've changed months. And so I guess we'll be just kind of hovering in this area now. All right. From there, we'll go to platinum. Now, platinum was also flirting with the daily sell, but look at that. They started reaching for it again. We'd like to refer to the platinum just like we call the Turkish lira the great experiment. We look at platinum as the worst short in the world, or the most dangerous short in the world. Because, here we have gold trading at almost $2,400, and we have platinum trading at $1,055. So it's well beyond 50% lower. And that's historically not normal whatsoever. So ever since quantitative easing, there's been pressure on the what they call the pairs trade. They used to do 1-to-1. Now you can do 2-to-1. Imagine buying 2 platinums and selling 1 gold for a credit. And then what you do is you take the buy a call in the gold, just in case it goes explosive, and you buy a put in the platinum, and that'll definitely could be a very interesting trade. All right, that does it for the metals complex. Let's jump over to the energy complex. And there is crude oil trying to lift up. It went into the sell yesterday. It's higher today than yesterday, but we're still in that weekly sell there. Over on, let's just put it up over here on the beta. Right there. You see, same situation. Let's try it one more time. Why is that not working? There we go. And there's the crude oil. You see it's popping up also, and it went into the sell yesterday. And then when we look at the weekly, it's actually trying to climb into the buy. It's doing a little bit better job. It's been in a weekly sell for 5 full weeks, but it's still trying to battle its way into the buy this week, whereas this has been stalled down in there. It hasn't been able to. Let's see, what do we got here? That is the N4, and that's the N4. Okay, so that should be jumping up, and we're just not. The weekly is really on the edge. Wouldn't surprise me if we walk in on Monday and find this thing in a buy. That would not surprise me at all. All right, and then from crude, we go to right there. It is right there. So you see that it's trying to come into the buy there. And then from crude, we go over to Brent. Right there. Brent still in the sell on a 6th week, But again, that's yesterday's settlement, and you can see right there is yesterday's settlement on the daily, and then you can see the pressure is still on it. They're not lifting the Brent up whatsoever. Excuse me. So, notice I'm not eating. It's a little tough on the throat, but I haven't had a cough drop in over an hour, so that's good. I've been drinking hot tea. I just realized that. Maybe that's helping it out. All right. Now from there, you see the Brent up there. Let's take a look at natural gas. And natural gas has been, for the last 5-6 days, it's been pressuring down. You can see it's in the daily sell. And when we look at the weekly, the weekly's been in a weekly buy right there. Let's see what the other platform is trying to tell us. Right there. And it's doing the same thing. It's showing that strength. See it up in the buys. But the daily's been pressing down. It's been in the sell also for 5 full days. Same thing here. Matter of fact, this has been in a daily sell for 6 days over there. That's interesting. That's why we like our beta. It seems like there's times it jumps ahead of our old platform. We're very close to getting it straightened out. Now, what is it? Futures update at 8 o'clock at night on our beta platform. So this is good. So at least by the end of the day, at night, you can get an idea where things are. From there, we zip over to the energy company down in where is that? Down in Spain. There it is, right there. And you can see it's been in a buy. It's been flirting, banging around, trying to get into the sell there yesterday, but didn't do too good a job. And you can see it's still hanging out in between the 25 and 24 and a half. Just banging around in that area there. You can see the weekly still in a buy from yesterday, and we'll see if it closes like unchanged here. It's going to stay in that buy, but it's getting awful close to the zero line. And I would have to believe the more Mr. Trump looks like he's going to win, you would think energy prices would find ways to go down. All right. That pretty much completes us with the energies and the metals. If anybody cares to ask anything or see it again, just give us a yell and we'll know. We'll do it. But from there, we're going to go international again. International. Let's take a look at, there's the Nikkei right there. And you can see there, it's been in a sell for 3 days now, it looks like to me. And it was in a weekly sell, and it's flirting with a weekly buy still. And it was giving us a red dot today when it closed, but it's up higher. So this is just going to be a battle to the end when it comes to, can they get their act together in Japan? It's been a really dicey almost 2 years now. It's been ugly. Indeed, it's been very, very ugly. Let's see. There we are. So, we have that right? Yeah, there we are. Let's go to the Kospi. We go over to Japan, South Korea, and get a flavor there. That's also doing the same thing, but even better, it's still pushing down. And you can see it's been in a weekly sell for 10 weeks. They're very productive in South Korea, and we have no doubts that if they say that there's pressure, there's pressure. In other words, and If they, we've seen it make that run up, and now it's trying to bring itself back down to that low back in early April, which is pretty curious. What else can we say about the Kospi? I guess that's about it. Let's jump over to the Taiwan. The semiconductors, or Taiwan in general, have been moving down for the last couple of days. I like this. Drinking hot tea seems to stop me from coughing. All right. Where's it at? There we are. There it goes. There's Taiwan. You see there, it's a third day down in a sell. And let's see what the weekly is up to. Still in the buy. Still showing that strength in the buy there. And not really too convinced that there's going to be that much pressure on the Taiwan, solely because the hunger for good chips, and they do have the best chips. Let's see now. From there, we drift over to right there. That's Shanghai. You can see Shanghai down a couple days now, and overall, it's actually been down. What's that? 4. So it's been down 6 out of the. I'm sorry. Yeah, 6 out of the last 7 days. It's been in a sell since up in here. You can see it closed in a weekly sell last week. And trying to guess the China market is extremely hard. Best we can say is that what we see, it shows a very poor economy. But when it comes to actually trying to follow the actual fundamentals, the numbers are so fudged. They're so rounded out, they're hollow, and that's why we've seen some of their major corporations go bankrupt, especially the major international ones, where they have debt of maybe $15-20 billion, and they can't even find like $50 million to make a payment. So that really gives you that warning sign. Way better than trying to listen to a bunch of communists tell you about economics. All right, and then from there, we go jump over to the Philippines right there. You see, the Philippines has been in the sell for the last 4 days and the last 2 weeks. And you can see that downwardly sloping move in the daily bar. Now look at that. They gave it a good push there today. I guess the end of the week they were trying to flatten out, or maybe they didn't want to be short. I don't know. Who knows? How that plays out. All we know is that today there was more buyers than sellers, but our math is telling us that there's still pressure on the product. From there, we jump over to, let's see, so we're going from Philippines, we jump up to Hong Kong. The Hang Seng, there it is. See, the Hang Seng was down, made it something like a 30-day low, and you can see here it's been in a daily sell for a few days, and overall, you're looking at, what's that? That's 6 and 8. So 8. So out of the last 10 days, 8 of them have been in daily sells. And then you can see the weekly. It looks like it's going to have no problem at this point since they're closing, and we know it was down lower than yesterday. That the weekly should close, stay in that weekly sell for the rest, today, and because the markets are finally closed over there at this point for the week. All right, and then from there, we zip over to Australia. Cracky. No, we go to Singapore Strait. That's what it is. STI, Singapore Strait Times. And there it is there. That's been firm. That is like the new Hong Kong, and they it's now that China controls Hong Kong, it's like that seems to be the place everybody's running to. So you see there, we've been in a daily buy in that things for 8 days now, 8 straight days, 9 straight days. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 9 straight days in the daily buy. And when it comes to the weekly, let's see, that didn't do it. Right there, it's 8 weeks in a weekly buy. Not bad. All right. Then from there, we zip our way over to. There it is, like that. Where do we head from there? We head over to the All Ordinaries Index. Right there. You see, that was pressed down for the last couple of weeks, but then all of a sudden today, like a few of the other products, they've reached up and closed them up, but still keeping the red dot going. You can see here, basically, what is that? That's six full days in a sell. Probably this is the 7th, but it'll be very close. On a weekly basis, you can see it's the opposite. It's refusing to give up. So it got down to where it started from back in here. This is where it got started, right in that area. And see, that doesn't really show you anything, but we can go like this and do it. You can see we have been more up than down, and then in just the last 2 weeks they found a way to take them down. Indeed. There we are. And that leads us over to the Nifty 50 right there. And it's up for the day, but still in a sell. And it's 4 days in a daily sell. And on a weekly basis, it's the second week in a sell. And you know what's interesting is it's been 9 out of the last 10 weeks in a sell. And when you go back here, you see it was down and down and down. And then finally it broke out when we were in the daily buy. But it's not really showing. Let's see, with that much of all those weekly sells, it's just kind of sideways more than anything else. And that's what really the markets in general are. Markets are trapped in an envelope. Stock and Forex are trapped in some type of like sideways market or envelope. And that's the only thing we can say about it. That they're trapped in a channel. Yep. All right. What else can we say about that? I guess that's about it. All right. From there, we let's see. From there, we go over to Europe, and we're going to go right to the very first one. That's at Stokes 500 or the 50E, and you can see here this is on the continent, and they were looking for the 5. See right here on the side here. This is 550 in this area here. That's the 550 area down to the 4950 area. Whoa, yeah, that's right there. And so it's kind of trapped right now. They thought that if it broke out of the 515 area, it might get going, but it didn't seem to happen. And so we're finding ourselves drifting down more than up. You see, this is the 4th day in a sell. And we were in a weekly sell. Now we're climbing into a weekly buy. So there was feelings that, like I said, if this index got closed over the 5,015 area, they thought there would be some buying coming in. All right. And then from there, we'll go to the DAX. There it is right there. I just saw it. There's the DAX. DAX has that same pattern to it. There's 4 days in a daily sell. And we're looking at it again in a reverse situation. 5 full weeks in a weekly buy. So it's, the markets are not really looking at the fundamentals. They're looking at the politics. And that's why we're trapped in a channel. No one wants to really make any big changes in their portfolios. From there, we'll go over to France and see what they look like today. You see there, it's been really sliding down. It's up a little bit for the close, but we're about probably 3 days in a sell. And at the same time, you can see it looks like they're putting them in the weekly buy. So that's the, let's put it this way, this is up a little bit higher. So with it a little bit higher, it has to be closing in a weekly buy. Last of the continent that we pay attention to is the FTSE. There's the FTSE. And you see it right there. It's closed in the daily. It might have closed in the daily buy. We can see here yesterday it fought to give us a little confusion after all those days of selling. We were in a sell from here. At the same time, we've been in a weekly buy, so it's a very hard trade to deal with. It's more for an option trade than anything, solely because this way you have your risk. You know what the limits are. And then, let's see, from there we jump over to, let's take a look at Bitcoin, the actual Bitcoin itself. And then we'll go into the stock indices. Right there's Bitcoin. You see Bitcoin's been in a daily sell now, going on a 4th day. And you can see here it was up. It's up for the day at the moment. Remember, this is in the United States, so chances are we're going to have a very interesting day with the cryptos, because it's flirted with the all-time highs, sold off about something like a 10% drop, and then maybe even more. It was like a 15% drop, and then they brought it back, and it's now sitting on the edge. Again, all it has to do is get through 72,000, and it's at 69 and change right now. So not exactly screaming like, oh no, we're not participating. It's definitely participating. And then from there, we'll take a look at the Dow. There's the Dow Jones Industrial Average. You see that's been in a sell for, was that 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, going on 11th day. And it closed in the weekly sell last week, right there. So this is the 2nd week in a sell. When it comes to the S&P 500, nowhere near the move, but we've been in a daily sell now for 6 days, and we're not in that weekly sell yet. And we always like those things to line up with each other. All right, now from there, we go over to the NASDAQ 100, or the Tech 100, right there. You see it's been off for the last couple of days. You can see it's in the sell there, but the weekly has not budged. Just like the S&P 500, let's go back to that again. You see that weekly has not budged, where the Dow Jones actually closed in a weekly sell last week. Right there. And it's always interesting to watch these indices do these things. They're definitely moving like pistons in an engine. When one's up, the other one's down, but it doesn't mean that's not the direction that they're going. And then we go and take a look at right there. There's the Russell 2000, and you can see that's been in a daily sell for 7 days now. Wow. And it jumped up. It's jumping up right now as we speak. And the weekly has gotten very close to the zero line and is now turning over. So, all right. From there, we will jump over to, where is it at? the. Did we do the Russell? There's the Russell. And the Russell has been in a sell for 7 days now and is trying to lift up. You can see it's been in a weekly buy for 4 weeks now. So we're not feeling that same pressure. The Russell is a big speculative product, and people usually buy it when they think that the equity market is getting ready to run. And so it's, there are people out there that, say, Doc, this thing isn't really going anywhere. And it's like, yeah, I know, I hear you. It is banging up against things, and it just cannot get its act together. But it's not falling apart either. It's trapped in that big channel that we talk about. Markets are trapped in it, and it's not just for this week or this day, but they are definitely trapped in it for the next couple months, as far as I can tell. Just looking up on the tape, gold up $9, almost $10. Let's see, was it Bitcoin up about 400, and we saw, let's see where oil is. What's oil doing? Don't see anything particular. I see the footsie's up. Interesting. Maybe just put the oil up there again. Right there. Yep. That's the magic of it all. All right. Does anybody have anything else? I guess we should come up with a title. And I think it's going to be exactly what we were talking about. And that is that how the markets are kind of trapped in a range. And so the Friday title will be Stocks and Forex Trapped in Channel. And that's what it feels like, too. It does feel like that. All right. Anybody out there have any questions? We're going to check around and see if we see any notes anywhere. I don't see anything on the chat line. All right. What else we got to go? I guess that's about it. So, I guess what we'll start to do is we'll start thinking about shutting her down for the day. So, I guess I'll stick around for a few more minutes to see if anybody wants to ask a question. But it just seems like there's it's Friday. People are probably having their adult beverages at this point. We're coming down to the end of the day, that type of thing. I mean, Europe will be closing in about 2 hours. All the big numbers have come out, what we're waiting for, the Dow Jones. Let's just show you what isn't it right there? Let's show you what the stock market is doing as we speak. Right there. And you can see that it's doing that thing again. Yep. They lifted it up, and now they've stalled out. I wonder if we can put a better way of looking at it. Maybe like this. Let's try that one. See that? Ran up and then stalled out. And you can see the pressure is back underneath. Our little daily one is trying to top out too. It's doing one of these things here. Like as if they're going to smack it again. All right, traders, we're out of here. This is Doc saying, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. Catch you on Monday, which will be, thank goodness it's Monday, TGIM. And so have a safe and smart weekend. And we will be here kicking it away, doing the thing as we usually do. Ta-ta.